Hello, welcome to the Honest Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. This is the Age of Sigmar Sat Center, and I'm sorry I've not been here for a week or so. Last Sunday, I'm recording on Monday now, last Sunday, my voice just vanished. I literally could not speak for over a week. So I couldn't even, if I had the flu or something, I maybe could have dragged myself to the microphone, but I literally couldn't talk. And my voice gets quite croaky in this video you're about to watch, so I apologize, but I'm back now, and hopefully I'll be bringing you all the news and information. We're still new Daughters of Cain coming out. That's exciting. They announced that. There's loads of cool stuff. But first back, we're going to be covering the stat show, and because I was away last week, I've covered that stat show, and I've also covered this week's stat show, which means we got a lot of things to go through. We have, from the week before, 262 players playing across 9 events in 8 countries. And then after that, we've got 312 players playing across 9 events and 7 countries. And we're in all sorts of places. We're in Thailand, Colombia, Australia, Canada, USA, Netherlands, Slovenia, Germany, Sweden, Austria, loads of places. So France, England. So lots of cool places, which is really fun. There was also in Spain a 400-person team event that happened just this weekend just gone, which is also awesome to see. So I would say it feels like Age of Sigmar's got some real momentum. I don't know if that's because of the new book releases recently. I don't know if that's because of just generally, kind of March, February, March, April, you generally tend to see an uptick in the amount of events, the amount of people playing. I don't know what the reason is, but it does feel like Age of Sigmar's got a bit of momentum, got a bit of motion, and that's also great to see as well. So I'm about to go through a load of events. I hope you really enjoy them. Quick TLDR, what you're going to see. You're going to see some big dominance from Tzeentch, LRL, Flesh Eater Courts. That's what you're going to see. Yeah, boy, there's some interesting lists in there. So I hope you enjoy the video. Thanks for your support. Don't forget, there are bat reps. In fact, there's a free bat rep you can go watch with LRL and Tzeentch, which was played at one of my events. All the events that we cover, all the bat reps we do are real players playing real games. So they're from tournaments. So hopefully you enjoy that video. Let's go look at all these event results. So the first event we're going to look at, because Rob is making me do it, is the Red Rose Rumble number 5, taking place at Black Tower Wargaming with 12 people battling it out. We had no 5-0s, so we had Jay with their Sylvaneth. Let's take a look at the Sylvaneth right now. Bug Love, new Sylvaneth book coming out soon. Restless Energy, Wrathful Cycles. We had Manifestations of Deepwood, and we had the Wargrove of the Burgeoning. So we have a Scorched Grand Dreicher, Scorched Grand Revenant Seekers that have been reinforced. These have become very popular recently. A lot of people really enjoying the movement and mobility that you can see from the Revenant Seekers. Then Belthanos, Branch Witch, reinforced unit of Kurnoth Hunters, and then a Warsong Revenant, Twist World, and some Tree Revenants. Now, it's quite interesting that we've moved away from all Kurnoth Hunters all the time, but obviously there's room for growth here. Seraphon, next by Alex, running a list called Crocassic Park, running Restless Energy and Wrathful Cycles, running the Thunderquake Star Host. He had Lord Croak, and then he had 1-2 Bastillodons with Arcosotech, and then 1-2 Bastillodons with Solar Engine. Then a Skink Oracle on Troglodon, an Engine of the Gods, and 2 units of Hunters of Haunchy with Star Sown Bowlers. Now, this is very different to some of the other lists that we've seen. Croak making a return, and then these indestructible 2-up save Bastillodons in the middle of the board. Very tough to actually get into Croak. Skink Oracle for extending Croak's range, Engine of the Gods, and then also the Hunters being able to drop down and reduce down, either do tactics or reduce down charges. So, very, very cool list. Very interesting. Love it. Hope everyone had a good time. Let's look at the next event. Okay, so our first big event from last week is the Windy City WAAAGH, organized by Carlos Munoz. Thank you for being a great member of your community and being a hero. We are at the Windy City WAAAGH. This is in Illinois in the USA, so I guess that means fuck ice. And we are at a VA center over here. There we go. That's the place it was taking. That was where it was taking place. Now, if we take a look at the results, we can see we've got 2 5-0s: Joe Cry with Flesh Eater Courts and Corey O'Keefe with Cruel Boys. Pretty great. Cruel Boys have been almost non-existent over the past few weeks, so actually seeing them back, I think, is nice. And then in the 4-1 section, we got Magikin and Nurgle. Shout out to Raymond. Housemiths of Hashut, Flesh Eater Courts, Blades of Corn, Magikin and Nurgle, Stormcast Eternals, Flesh Eater Courts again, Deepkin, all in the list. So quite diverse. Flesh Eater Courts seem to be doing quite well. Big combat armies. Housemiths in there. That's fun. New Magikin of Nurgle losing in the final game, meaning they got a good T-Whip, so that's fantastic. All right, let's take a look. So Joe Cryer running a list called Here's the Bat. It never bats. It makes me want to bat my bat. When they bat, I want to bat. Wow. A Flesh Eater Court's Royal Menagerie list with Restless Energy and Insect and Recover. We've got an Abhorrent Ghoul King and Royal Terrorgeist, then 4 Royal Terrorgeists, an Abhorrent Ghoul King and Zombie Dragon, a Royal Zombie Dragon, and a Marrow Scroll Herald. And I think this is great. This is definitely how Joe needs to play. He needs to stop trying to be clever with Tzeentch lists and just push 7 dragons at people. Saw this play over the weekend. I've seen this play over the past several months at loads of events that I've ran. It's aggressive. It's fast. It basically auto-wins some matchups because it just does so much damage. It's just so aggressive. Congratulations. Then we got Corey O'Keefe running a list called Still Rippin' AZ, an Auric Warclans Cruel Boys list with Incept and Recover and Restless Energy. He had a Scorched Grand Killer Boss and Great Gnashtooth, then 3 reinforced units of Gut Rippers, 60 Gut Rippers, a Marshcrawler Sluggoth, Stormcaller Shaman Potgrot, 3 units of Cruel Boys Monster Killers, and then a Killer Boss with Stabgrot and another unit of Monster Killers. So it's a lot of wounds. It's a lot of wounds, it's a lot of units, it's a lot of punchback. Even if you charge in and lift a unit of Gut Rippers, you're still going to be charged by a bunch of units that are going to multi-activate across your ass. Very solid, very cool to see. And then we got Raymond into the 4-1 section running a list called I Was Short 70 Pox Wretches, which is a Mankin of Nurgle, Taliban and Nurgle list with the Restless Energy and Master the Paths. He had a Rotigus, a Poxbringer, 20 Plague Bearers, 2 units of 14 Pox Wretches, and then Belga, 10 Rotmire Creed, the Glotkin, and 3 Sloven Knights and a Harbinger of Decay. A lot of people really enjoying running the Glotkin and 3 Sloven Knights because basically, even if you charge them, you're fighting last, and then they're all hitting you first, which a lot of people are really enjoying that combo. As you can see, Raymond very much of the belief that if he was able to take another 70 Pox Wretches, this list would work even more effectively. Nurgle, currently the best performing army in the game. We'll see if those stats change over the next few weeks. Austin running a list called Midwest runs the best events. No other region compares. So Hellsmith of Hashut, Demonsmith Cabal list with Incept and Recover Restless Energy. He had Uruk Tar, Rocket Battery, and then Bull Centaurs, a reinforced unit, and then 2 Infernal Cohorts with Hashutite Spears. Demonsmith on an Infernal Taurus, an Infernal Cohort with Spears, and a Tormentor Bombard, and then an Ashen Elder and a Death Shrieker Rocket Battery. So that's 2 units of Death, that's 2 Death Shriekers, yes, and then a Tormentor Bombard, and then you've got 40 Infantry, 2 Giant Monsters, and a big unit of Bull Centaurs. And Bull Centaurs are super effective at being able to dish out the damage, and everything else is also just there, which is good. So very cool, very cool. Nice to see Hellsmiths kind of slowly slotting into their kind of 3-2-4-1 category that they exist inside of, which I think is pretty impressive with, you know, how the book was written. Dustin Foreman is running a list called A Rewrite in Undead, which is a Flesh Eater Court's Royal Menagerie list with Restless Energy and Insect and Recover. Yeah, a Abhorrent Ghoul King, Royal Terrorgeist, 1, 2, 3, 4 Royal Terrorgeist, Abhorrent Ghoul King, and then a Royal Zombie Dragon. Went 4-1, all dragons all the time. Daniel Grigo was running a list called Tide of Death, which is a Blades of Corn Gore-Tide list with Restless Energy and Master Paths with a Blood Secretor, 1 reinforced unit of Blood Warriors, a reinforced unit of Blood Reavers, a reinforced unit of Skull Reapers, a unit of Wrathmongers, then a Bloodstoker, and some Blood Warriors that were reinforced, and Karanak as well. So 2 big units of Blood Warriors. Since the FAQ update that Khorne got just before Christmas, and we're not long away from the FAQ, are we actually? Then, you know, this is just a more effective and powerful army. It's good, it's strong. George Coe wrote a list called Man Will Never Be Free Until the Last King is Strangled with the Entrails of the Last Priest. Where's my shirt, Rob? Am I meant to be getting you a shirt, or am I meant to be making a shirt? If I'm meant to be making a shirt, I'll get on that. Okay, I apologize, but great title. Magian and Nurgle, Taliban and Nurgle, running Rotigus. 1, 2, 3 units of Plague Bearers. That is crazy. That's 60 Plague Bearers. That is 120 health on the board for for 700-ish, nearly 800-ish points. GW, come on. Poxbringer, and then Belga the Sistwitch, a Poxbringer, a Curse of Steel Battery, so the Regiment of Renown, the Hellsmiths one, it gets you the Demonsmith, Death Shrieker, and Tormentor Bombard, which is obviously very good. George Coe, Fantastic human. David Rodriguez got a list called Strike and Fade, which is a Stormcast Eternal Sentinels Big Citadel list with Giradan, Scorched Giran Iridan. I'm going to call him Giradan now. The Witness, Eighth of Wings, Reinforced Unit Prosecutors, and then Vanguard Paladors with Starstrike Javelins, Vanguard Raptors with Long Strike Crossbows, Knight Relictor, and then Stormstrike Chariot. Oh, nice. And a unit of Vigilers as well. So, realistically, 3 big hammers. The Prosecutors are so fast. The Paladors are so fast. The Long Strikes can be wherever they want to. Ability to put power in one place is super impressive. And then Sam McEwen has written a list called The Irony of Man's Condition is that the deepest need is to be free of the anxiety of death and annihilation, but it is life itself which awakens it, and so it must shrink from being fully alive. Wow. A Flesh Eater Court's Royal Menagerie list with Incept and Recover and Restless Energy, with an Abhorrent Ghoul King Royal Terrorgeist, 2 more Terrorgeists and a Dragon, another Zombie Dragon with a Ghoul King on, some Mob Egg Knights, and a Cardinal. All monsters all the time. Is it a little bit too good? Find out. We've got Carlos Munoz, who ran the event and played and got a 4-1. Great result. With Sharks and Eels running Ether Sea Predators. He had Restless Energy and Scouting Force with an Eidolon and Mathlon, an Alapex and Alapex, some Ishling Guard that were reinforced, an Oracle of the Abyss, and then another Alapex, another Alapex. So taking 5. And then some Ishling Guard reinforced as well. So some actual eels in the list versus just straight up all sharks all the time, which is also a great result. Anyway, I hope everyone at WAAAGH City Attack of the Chorfs, Windy City WAAAGH 2 Attack of the Chorfs had a great time. And I hope you continue running events. Thanks to Carlos for being a great hero to your community. Let's look at the next event. Our next event takes us to Francais for the Open AoS de Loire Atlantique by Les Illuminatis, organized by AoS FF, and also Maxime Choisson. This event had 40 players battling it out to be the champs in the location of Rue de la Guingamp or something like that. We're in Bouvron, Pays de la Loire. Perfect. Anyway, if we take a look at the results, we can see that Matt Octo with Hellsmiths of Hashut got the 5-0. So Hellsmiths with a 5-0, massive moment for the community. Come on, everyone's got to be excited. 5-0, let's go Hellsmiths. Then in the 4-1 section was Soulblight Gravelords, Blades of Khorne, Iron Jaws, Lumineth Realm Lords, Skaven, Idneth Deepkin. All right, let's jump in and have a look, shall we? Right, Matt was running a list called Illimited Rend, Hellsmiths of Hashut, Tar's Grand Forge Host army, so running the Army of Renown. He had Uruk Tar, reinforced unit of Infernal Razzers with Blunderclarts, which I got told they were called this weekend, but I guess you would call them Blunderbuses. Blunderclarts, and then 2 Deathstreaker rocket batteries and a Dominator engine with Bane maces. Then an Ashen Elder, an Infernal Cohort with a Hashutite Spears, and then an Ashen Elder, another reinforced unit of Hashutite Spears, and then a unit of Hashutite Spears that's not reinforced, and a Dominator engine. So in total, there were 50 Spears, there was Uruk Tar, there was a reinforced unit of Blunderbuses, there were 2 rocket batteries, and then there were 2 Dominator engines with Bane maces. Amazing. Yeah, absolutely amazing. Great work. Love to see it, Matt. Really lighting the Hellsmiths community up. Then we got Thomas DeFay running a Soulblight Gravelords Bacchanal of Blood list with Scouting Force and Restless Energy. We got Prince Vordry, a Vampire Lord on Nightmare Steed. Then some Blood Knights, Varghese, Radikal the Beast, a Skirk and Trueblades, Death Rattle Skeletons, all in the list. Fantastic to see. Fantastic. Then we got Aurelian Dumois running Bloodthirsty We Are, which was a Blades of Khorne, the Baleful Lords list, all Bloodthirsters. Let's go. Love to see it. Then we got Thibaut Peltier Belhoste running a list called Garadon Ka, I think, which is an Oracle Warclans Iron Jaws list with Restless Energy and Interceptor Recover, with Kragnos, 2 reinforced units of Brute Ragers and a reinforced unit of Weird Brute Wreckers. And then a War Chanter, a Weird Knob Shaman, Godrak, and a Tusk Boss or Morgrunter. So 3 big monsters, and then some Wreckers and Ragers for some additional combat output. Fantastic. They're very cheap. Then Matthew Beau was running a list called La Ligue des Gentlemen Extraordinaires, which is a Lumineth Realm Lord Cenari Council list with Master Path and Wrathful Cycles, with Severith, Scourge Grand Light of Altharion, and then Eleanor and Elathor, a Cenari Cathalar, an Enlightener, and then 2 reinforced units of Blade Lords and a unit of River Blades. This is new Lumineth, don't forget. People have been using Severith as a delivery system. Severith obviously can move really fast in the game. Teleports, or not teleports, moves really fast, charges into a place he wants to charge in, and then brings Altharion with them. Just like, there you go. Off we go. And then while you're dealing with that, you've got some Blade Lords that are about to chase you down and do some murder, which is pretty good. Then Fabian Dubost was running a list called, but obviously I hate LRL. Obviously they're the worst, and I hate them. Fabian Dubost is running GTLA, which is a Skaven Claw Horde list, with Restless Energy and Scouting Force, with Kritok, 2 units of Clan Rats, Plague Monks, and reinforced unit of Storm Vermin. Then a Scourger and Gracer and Screaming Bell, reinforced unit of Rat Ogres, reinforced unit of Rattling Guns, and a unit of Storm Fiends. So nice to see some Skaven doing well. Pretty different. Storm Fiends, I mean, obviously there's still the Rat Ogres as well, but Kritok you do not see. So that's great. And then Abidis was running a list called Beast, which was the Keelian Beastmasters Inet Deepkin list with Mathala, Oracle of the Abyss, a Leviathan, 2 units of Morsar Guard, 1 unit of Morsar Guard and 1 unit of Ishling Guard, both reinforced, an Icon of the Storm, some Ishling Guard again, and a Morsar Guard unit. So yeah, Deepkin are really solid in that kind of like 3-2-4-1 section. 4-1-5-0 section. I think Deepkin are a great army. They've got lots of play, great mobility, great utility. Be really interesting to see how they change up if we go to a new GHB in the summer that's more holding objective centric or doing job centric, because they're really good at doing jobs in my opinion. Anyway, vive la France, vive la liberté. And I hope everyone had a great time at this event. Okay, so our next event is the Aniversario de Hashut in Colombia. So shout out to everyone in Colombia, especially to our tournament organizer, Club Medhammer and Luis Ernesto Rincon Avandando. The problem I have with this event is that we don't think we've been like, I've spent about 15-20 minutes with everyone in the chat and everyone online trying to figure out how this event was working, because the numbers don't make sense, because it's like 32 people at this event, which should give you, if you're using Swiss, which is the winners play the winners, and then you keep going along that system, it would be like 32 down to 16, down to 8, down to 4, down to 2, with over 5 rounds, 1 final winner, or 1-5-0. However, at this event, we've ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4 5-0s, which doesn't make a lot of sense. So I'm assuming they didn't use a Swiss system, and instead just maybe randomly paired, or maybe there was like a point system or something else I don't really know. So I'm just going to say congratulations to all of you. Well done. Great job. Please use Swiss system in the future so I can understand what's happening to the results, or maybe in your kind of like documentation here, let me know like what your plan was, so I can kind of like deep dive into it. But congratulations to all of you. Hope you had a really nice time. Big love. Our next event takes us to the Scorched Earth Open 2026 World Qualifier. That's right, it's a world qualifier organized by Matt Bow. Shout out to Matt Bow for being a great hero to your community. Take a look at the placings. This is in Phoenix, Arizona, by the way. So if you ever want to go to Phoenix, Arizona and play some Age of Sigmar, then you get yourself down there. I've heard it's hot, hot, hot. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, take a look at the 5-0. We've got Alex Jerome with Mankin Nurgle. Then we've got Mankin Nurgle again in the 4-1 section. We've got He Knights of Slash, Slaves to Darkness, Cities of Sigmar, Sons of Behemoth. Nice to see Cities of Sigmar. Nice to see Sons of Behemoth, my now second worst army to play. Obviously, bottom of the pile is Lumineth Realm Lords. So at the top, we've got Alex Jerome running Nurgle V6, which is a Mankin Nurgle Taliban and Nurgle list with attuned to Grand Wrathful Cycles with Belga, Lord of Blights, Pox Wretches, Future Blight Kings Reinforced, Harbinger of Decay, Horticulate Slimmocks, Beast of Nurgle, Nurglings, Shaman Foulhoof, a reinforced unit of Pestigors, reinforced unit of Rot Swords, and a Lord of Plagues. Now, what's interesting about this is we're starting to see that production meta slowly kicking in. People getting their Pestigors done, their Rot Swords done, all on the board. Very solid. Taliban and Nurgle, so effective. Well done, Alec. Cameron A. Halford was running a list called A Disease is Back in Town, which is, again, a Taliban of Nurgle list with Master Path and Restless Energy. We've got Scourging Around Rotigus, Pox Wretches, Rot Swords that reinforced, Sloven Knights, Harbinger of Decay, Harbinger of Decay, Lord of Plagues, Horticulate Slimmix, and then the Regiment of Renown, the Cursed Steel Battery. I quite like that, actually, because all of the mortal wound damage that you can proc from the Taliban of Nurgle Prime Progenitor kind of trait, then being able to back that up with some shooting and potentially like add that into the right sources, I think is spicy. Very, very spicy. That's a cool list. Then you got Colt Hagar, who's running a list called Sinesh Plop, which is a Heat Knights of Sinesh Master Pass Wrathful Cycles list with Glutus or Scullion, a lot of pain, 2 reinforced units of Twin Souls, Sigvald, Mimradesh Painbringers, a reinforced unit of Slangor Fiendbloods, and a unit of Twin Souls as well. Fantastic. Congratulations to Colt. Love to see it. Also, just nice seeing Sinesh do well as well. I think they've got play. I don't think that they can really hit the new wound dense armies like Nurgle, but Aaron Elias Newbomb is running a list called Joe Many Marauders Does It... Oh, sorry. Joe? Maybe it's meant to say how. Joe Many Marauders Does It Take to Change a Log by Bulb? None. They're too busy. Their oaths? Okay, cool. A Saved in Hardness, Dark Oath Horde list with Master Paths and Scouting Force, with Dark Oath War Queen, Dark Oath Chieftain, 2 reinforced units of Dark Oath Marauders. That's amazing. That's 40 Marauders. Dark Oath Chieftain, Dark Oath Savages, and Dark Oath Marauders. Then Gunner Brand, some more Dark Oath Savages, and then a Dark Oath Chieftain, Dark Oath Fell Riders that were reinforced, 2 more units of Dark Oath Marauders, and then the Regiment of Renown, the Cursed Steel Battery. This is wild. This is a wild list. We haven't seen anything like this. Like, no one's been running Marauder spam. No one's taken 2 units of Dark Oath Savages at all. This is crazy to see. Amazing work from Aaron there. That's a great result. Griffin Barbaro was running a list called We Built This City, which is a Cities of Sigmar veteran cannoneers list with Inception Cover Master Paths, with a Fusel Major and 3 Great Cannons, a Frigo Cavalier Marshal, and 2 reinforced units of Soggy Frigo Cavaliers, Pontifex and Estra, a Warforger, some Steel Helms, and then the Regiment Renowned, the Skyport Profiteers. So bringing this KO in obviously adds that nice mobility into what is effectively a castle army, which is obviously both on-nose and very lore-accurate. And then it's just finding some damage in this list, really. Like, the cannons are solid. The Cavaliers are more screens than they are output. They can do output, though, if they want to. And Pontifex, much nerfed. Maybe the only army that's been quadruple, triple nerfed over its life, which is unnecessary. And then Henry Simon was running a list called Big Feet, which is a Sons of Behemoth Taker Tribe list. Great to read it out. At least it's not a Lumineth Realm Lords list. That's what I say about Gargants. At least it's not Lumineth. Which is a Kragnos list with a Beast Smasher Mega Gargant, a War Stomper Mega Gargant, and the Regiment of Renown. Look at this. You wouldn't see this in Lumineth. Something cool and interesting. De Hurling Hogs with Tossboss on More Grunter and More Grunter Gouges. Congratulations, Henry Simon. Hope everyone had a great time. Let's go. So our next event takes us to Boris. That's wrong. Takes us to Germany, Gretstadt, Germany, for the Golden Age of Oheim GT1. This is organized by Peter Harling, and I've got some absolutely fantastic pictures. Look at this. Tell me you don't want to go play Warhammer with these cutie patooties. Right? They look great. I am also going to give a special shout out to Oscar. I'm going to do that right now. Let me just make sure I get this information correctly. Who was only 10. Oscar, who's only 10. He played with his dad, played all 5 games, and even painted an army himself. Incredibly wholesome, incredibly cool. Love that, Oscar. Great job. Proud of you. You're the best. Now, if we go and take a look at the results, we can see that in the 5-0 section, we've got Pascal Weimer running Skaven with the 5-0. And then we've got Fleshing Courts, Glooswag Gitz, and then we have an undefeated 3 wins and a draw, Annette Deepkin. So we're going to read that out. So Pascal was running a list called 12 Ogre and 3 Fiends, which was a Skaven Fleshmail Menagerie list with Restless Energy and Scouting Force. He has a Soggy Grey Seal and Screaming Bell, 2 reinforced units of Rat Ogres, and a unit of Storm Fiends. Then we've got a Plague Priest on Plague Furnace, Clan Rats and Plague Monks, all in the list as well. Fantastic. I think Skaven are in a solid place. I think Rat Ogre is really good. I think we're in a situation where these mid-board combat armies, I think Skaven don't hate fighting against Nurgle, but I think when we start to see some armies that have got more mobility, LRL, maybe they start to be not quite as pacey as you could want them to be, especially on things like doubles. They can have some issues, but I think they're still really good. Okay, still really good. Andreas Holter was running a list called Return of the Winged Winter King, When the Winged Hussars Arrive, which is a Flesh Eater Courts Royal Menagerie list with Inceptor Recover Flesh Eater Courts, for Restless Energy, sorry. And you're not going to believe this, but it was all of the monsters. It was Terrorgeist and Terrorgeist all the way down. Zombie Dragons, Terrorgeist. Fantastic. By the way, Flesh Eater Courts are doing really well. They are doing really well right now. They're doing solid. Dominic anyway. I was running a list called, oh my God, Herdenabtrieb. He was running Herdenabtrieb. That was his list. Herdenabtrieb, which is a Gloomspite Gits Squigalanch list with Restless Energy and Incept and Recover, with Scragrot, a Rabble Rouser, and 2 soggy Spore Splatter Fanatics. Then a Squig Boss, 3 reinforced units of Squig Herd. Wow, that's fantastic. Loon Boss on Mangler Squigs, and then 3 other units of Squig Herd. Anyway, that is a lot of Squigs. There's a lot of Squigs. That's a very cool list. And lastly, we've got Maximilian Jenner running a list called 61, which is an Einet Deepkin Ether Sea Predator list with Master of the Pass and Scouting Force, with an Eidolon of Mathlan aspect of the sea, an Alapex, and Leviathan, and a reinforced unit of Morsar Guard, then an Icon of the Storm, Alapex, and another Alapex as well. Very cool. Very cool. So all the sharks all the time. I love seeing new communities popping up all around the world. And I love that in Germany, we've now got Peter Haring and his group of friends creating the Golden Age of Oheim. Germany is becoming a powerhouse when it comes to Age of Sigmar events. You've got massive events like the Raccoon Rumble. Okay, they travel internationally a lot to all of the other different communities as well. It is becoming a absolute juggernaut of Age of Sigmar and people playing games, which is great to see because they put so much time and money and investment in as a community. So seeing other events popping up, I think, is really positive. Hope to see more. People should take note of how they run their events. Our next event takes us to Sweden for the Realm of Gedon 2026, with 22 players battling it out. Now, what's really exciting for me personally is Theo Papachristodoulos is back on the top tables, smashing it with a new Disciples of Tzeentch book in the 5-0 section. So let's have a look. He's running a list called Ja Irat Saka Paat Det Stod Unspawn Ha. Nailed that first time, obviously. Swedish people in the chat, livid. Disciples of Tzeentch Fated Blades list, which was running Manifestations of Tzeentch and Restless Energy and Master of the Paths. He had Kairos, 3 units of Chaos Spawn of Tzeentch, Magister, and then 20 Zangor and 2 units of Reinforced Carrick Acolytes, a Fate Master, Jade Obelisk, and a Jade Obelisk unit again, and then the Curseling. Now, what I think is really interesting about the new Tzeentch army, having played it, also, FYI, there is a battle report on our YouTube channel, which is one of our long format battle reports, where we've got Kieran running new Disciples of Tzeentch against Phil running new Lumeth Realm Lords that played at an event only a week or so ago, week and a half ago. You can go watch that. There's also a bunch of those also on Patreon and also on the, what's it called, YouTube membership. You can go check it out, right? Which is great. So please go do that. Theo Papachristodoulos is an excellent player who's often done really well with armies that other people have not done very well with, or have he's overperformed with some armies compared to other people. I would say that Tzeentch has this really interesting kind of mechanic where it starts with, a third or maybe a quarter of its army off the board and has to utilize its swip swap mechanic really well in order to be effective. And then in order for that swip swap mechanic to be good, you can only use specific units like the Spawn, the Carrick Acolytes, and the Zangor, because otherwise you lack the output to do really well with it. But you can see all of those featured here. And so you've got that ability to swip swap stuff in and out that is going to be killy, or you can kind of give it up, which is what the Jade Obelisk are for, right? Swap out your Zangor that might be about to get charged and killed and swap it out for the Jade Obelisk, let them be killed instead. Spawn do the same job. But it's hard to play, and I think the skill ceiling for Tzeentch is really high. It's really interesting. All right, City Sigmar in the forward section, run by Sebastian Hedberg, running a list called Epstein Didn't Kill Himself. I agree. Which is a Sigmar veteran Cannoneers list with Incept and Recover and Restless Energy. He had Talia Vedra, and then he had 2 units of Free Guild Cavaliers. Then he had a Fusel Major on Ogre Warhawk, 3 Great Cannons, Callus and Toll, and then he had Pontifex and Estra, Freeguild Steelhelms, and World of Corpse Hunters. So this list has come back into popularity. One of the reasons it might be coming back into popularity is we are slowly gearing up to Age of Sigmar World Team Championships, and some of these lists may be seeing play at that event. So maybe it's that, or maybe it's just because it is a good list ultimately. Then we got Magikin and Nurgle also with the 4-1, and run by Bjorn. Bjorn was running a list called Pizza Pussy och Profeto, which is a Magikin and Nurgle Taliban of Nurgle list with Wrathful Cycles and Restless Energy. Roticus, Plague Bearers, Slaven Knights, Belga, Lord of Plagues, and then Reinforced Pestigores, Reinforced Rot Swords, and then the Regiment Renowned, the Cursed Steel Battery. Again, throwing that in there. Second time we've seen Nurgle do well. Second time we've seen Nurgle do well with that that Regiment of Renown. Awesome. Also in the forward section, we've got Jimmy Diola with Seraphon. Love that. Running a list called Kraxangd, which is a Seraphon Thunderquake Star Host list with Restless Energy and Wrathful Cycles, with Lord Croak, a Bastillodon, well, 2 Bastillodons, one with Archisotech, one with Solar Engine, 2 Engines of the Gods, a Scorched Garan, Old Blood and Connoisseur, a reinforced unit of Agrodon Lancers. Love that. Love to see that. Reinforced unit of Agrodon Lancers. Okay, cool. I mean, moving into more monster-heavy Seraphon lists is not really what I was expecting from 2026. So this is pretty cool. Okay, we'll have to see if this trend continues, because it does seem to be common across a bunch of different countries right now. And our last 4-1 is Aaron running also Magikin of Nurgle, which was a list called Slow and Steady, which is, of course, a Taliban of Nurgle list with Attuned to Grand Wrathful Cycles. We've got Rotigus, Plague Drones, Plague Bearers, Reinforced Rot Swords and Sloven Knights, Belga, Horticulate Slimmux, Shaman Foulhoof, Lord of Plagues, and Reinforced Pestigores. So you still got that kind of Reinforced Rot Swords, Reinforced Pestigores combo, and then you have all of the heroes to make that work, along with Rotigus as well. Again, Nurgle have got the current best win rate in the game, so we're going to continue to see them do well. So our next event takes us to Slovenia for a beautiful event in Maribor. Beautiful event. It's held in a castle. Absolutely fantastic event. This is 20 people battling it out for Prleški Hammer 5. So they run this very regularly. So if you're in Slovenia or even want to travel to a beautiful city, then that is top of my list. So if we take a look at the results, in the 5-0, we've got Blades of Khorne. Then we've got 2 4-0s. We've got Skaven and Soblite Gravelord. So for Blades of Khorne, we are looking at a list called REP Murderlust, running Master the Pass and Interceptor on cover. We have Khornate Legion. We have Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster, reinforced unit of Blood Warriors and Bloodletters, and another smaller unit of Bloodletters. And then we've got Karadak, Flesh Hounds, and then Realmgore Ritualist, Blood Reavers reinforced, and Wrathmongers, and then a Bloodmaster, Herald of Khorne. So, you know, these kind of 2 big infantry blocks. And I did ask the other week, do we think we're seeing a return to big infantry blocks? And generally across the course of this show so far, that has seemed to hold fairly true. But the monster meta, specifically Flesh Eater Courts, is kind of the only part that's really not holding out right now. But a big wound-dense army game at the moment is what we're seeing, I would say. In the 4-1 section, we've got Skaven, which is run by Tevs. Shout out to Tevs. Running Master Pass and Scouting Force. We have a list called Prlsko Kladivo. I nailed that. With Skaven, Fleshmail Menagerie, with a Scorched Grand Gracier on Screaming Bell. Then a unit of Globadiers, Clan Rats, Plague Pack, and Storm Vermin. Then a Master Molder, Clan Rats, Reinforced Rat Ogres ×2. And then the Regiment Renowned, Cursed Steel Battery. So popular. So popular, so good. And then Soblite Gravelords, being run by Enes Humik, was running a Bacchanal of Blood list with Master Pass and Restless Energy. Then we've got Vordry, Death Rattle Skeletons, Varghese, Vampire Lord Nightmare Steed, Deadwalker Zombies, Blood Knights, Reinforced, Blood Knights also reinforced as well. So double, I mean, this has been a list since it came out. Vordry, 20 Blood Knights. It's a great list and it works great. Hope everyone in Slovenia had a great time, and I hope you keep running these events. They seem awesome. I'd love to go to one time. I really would. I'd love to be able to go to something like this. This looks brilliant. So I hope you had a great time. Right, next up, we have the Horizon Darkmaster GT held in Thailand. I'm pretty certain this is Thailand's first 2-day GT, but they previously had an international team event. I think it was the ASPAC Asia Pacific team event. I think the Australian team flew over and stuff. So what's nice is there seems to be this kind of hub of of Age of Sigmar Wargaming that's happening in Thailand, which is very cool. So if you ever want to go check it out, it's in Bangkok, then go do it. In the 5-0 section, we've got Skaven, run by Boggy B of Team Serbia. So traveled over to go and play there. Then we've got Stormcast Eternals and Iron Jaws as well. So Boggy B was running a list called 111 Shooting, which is a Skaven Warp Code Convocation list with Wrathful Cycles Master Paths. With a Scorched Grand Gracer and Screaming Bell, some Clan Rats, Arch Warlock, some Globadiers, some Rattling Guns, and some Scourgers. Then a Plague Priest on Plague Furnace as well. So that is a lot of shooting. Let's just put that way. You know, you got some good screens though in the Clan Rats. Clan Rats are so cheap, so fantastic. Then you got Rambo Isan, who is running a list called Don't Break the Stone, a Stormcast Eternals Thunderhead host list with Restless Energy and Scouting Force. You got Taunus, Dracothian Guard Desolators, Storm Coven, Vanguard Raptors, Long Strike Crossbows, and Vigilers. Then a Knight Relictor, 2 units of Quest of Soulsworn, and some Storm Strike Paladors. Quest of Soulsworn, super good. Go back and look at the video I made about those. Paladors, obviously so good. Long Strike Crossbows, I think probably should be in most Stormcasts list. They're just so effective in the current meta. There's so many monsters to shoot. Very, very good. Then you got Yingos was running a list called I'm Green Dabba-Dee Dabba-Da, which is an Iron Jaws Brawl list with Incept Recover and Restless Energy, and was running Godrak, Ardboys, reinforced units of Brutes, 2 units of them, so 20 Brutes, a Tusk Boss, more Grunted Gougers, and then 2 units of Soggy Weird Brute Wreckers. So again, that's a lot of like mid-board combat armies, which is basically what I'm seeing, right? Basically what I'm seeing at the moment from the game, and it feels like it's an okay position, especially because Master Paths, this is not what was taken here. Master Paths is so popular right now. Incept Recover and Restless Energy is hard to achieve late game, I would say. Okay, cool. Great result. Hope everyone in Thailand had a great time. So moving on to this weekend's event results, we ended up with 312 players over 9 events and 7 countries. So again, we have the guy that does the stats, Rob, who has demanded that I read out his GT win at the top. But then we had 100 people in the Netherlands, 45 people in the USA, and again we're in Norway, Australia, Canada, Canada, and USA again. So a good widespread of events all around the world, which is also nice to see. Again, this kind of March, April period, normally it's quite popular for events, so that's great to see as well. And as we've said previously, generally we're starting to see more events happening around the world. So our first event is the event I ran this weekend, Realms 5, Age of Sigmar event. If you ever want to come to Nottingham, play, we run an Age of Sigmar event at least once a month, the GT. Please do come and attend. It's a great time. I think everyone has a good time. So big news for Rob. Been playing Warhammer for 27 years. He's been doing the Age of Sigmar stats for nearly 6-8 years, something like that. And got his first ever GT win. Shout out to Rob Hull, the best Warhammer Rob. He's the best. And he says his list name is, I'll be shocked if Rob reads this out on the stat show. Well, be shocked, because here you are. Huge for Rob fans. We got Soulblight Gravelords, and he is running the Bacchanal of Blood, Wrathful Cycles, and Restless Energy. He's got Prince Vordry, 2 units of Blood Knights, a reinforced unit of Blood Knights, a Vengori Lord, 2 units of Deadwalker Zombies. He absolutely cruised to the top. Let's go, everyone. Let's throw some big Rob Hull love in the chat, in the comments. He deserves it. He's one of the best dudes. Sam Farrell, great dude of the Sigmar's Pilgrims, went 4-1. He said, don't pay me into that car guy. He makes a lot of weird screeching noises. I think he needs help. Running Ambassador Path and Scouting Force. He was running a Stormcast Eternals list, Sentinels of the Bleak Citadels, with a Soggy Iridan the Witness, 2 reinforced units of Reclusians, and Vanguard Raptors long strike crossbows, a Lord Veritan, some prosecutors, and some vigilers. And he was set to win the event if Rob had not made some big 12-inch charges. So great work there from Sam. He should be proud. Paul Willis in the 4-1 section as well. Shout out to my Discord mod and also superstar all-round friend, Paul Willis, Blades of Corn, running Restless Energy, Incept, and Recover, 5 Bloodthirsters. Okay, you can actually go back. What's really fun about this, you go back and watch on the YouTube membership or on Patreon battle reports of Paul playing with his Bloodthirsters. Not quite as successful as this weekend. Learned a lot of lessons from that game, And this is also, huge for Pershaw fans. Now, Alex running Idnet Deepkin. Big news about Alex. He's only 17. He was running an Idnet Deepkin list called Shark du Saltail, running Restless Energy and Scouting Force. He was running Idnet Deepkin, 8th to Sea Predators list with Scouting Force and Restless Energy. So he's running Aspect of the Sea, an Alapex, a Leviathan, and a Reinforced Unit of Morsar Guard, an Icon of the Storm, and 2 more Alapexes. I think there's a lot of potential for this young man to become one of the best players in the UK. You know, he's only young. You know, he can't drink beer yet. So soon he's going to be out there just taking names, and I'm just super excited about that. Great weekend. I had a fantastic time. Shout out to Benjamin coming being spare player for the week. Some great lists. Everyone was super lovely. Had a great time. Would recommend. Let's do more. So we are now going to the Gauntlet, Age of Sigmar, hosted by Threshold Tactics, organized by Tom Edgens. So congratulations to him for being a big hero to the community. He's even got a medal that says he's a hero. So that's how you know. That's how you know who's a hero. So we're looking at the placings because there's 100 people. I'm not going to go through every single 4-1, especially for the armies that we already know what the lists are going to be, like Fleshy Court, Sylvaneth, and Deepkin, which we've already read through. So I've selected some out. In the 5-0 section, though, we've got Gloomspike Gits, amazing, Blades of Khorne, and also Sylvaneth. Okay, so let's take a look. So Frederick was running, I wish I had a pet squig at home, Gloomspike Gits, Squiggerlanch list with Wrathful Cycles and Restless Energy. He's got a Squig Boss, with Nasher Squig, and then he's got 1, 2, 3 Squig Herds that have been reinforced, and Squig Hoppers, then Drogs, Troglodytes that reinforced, and 2 Snarpat Cavalry, then a Rabble Rouser, and then a Scourge Garan, Spore Splatter Fanatics. Boom. Absolutely fantastic. Really cool. Great to see in a massive field to see Gits actually win. So that's something to be conscious of. All right, you need to be aware of that. Also in the 5-0 section is Pim, who was running a list called Just Some Monsters, which was Baleful Lords, and it was 5 Bloodthirsters. There you go. It's really simple. Can 5 Bloodthirsters 5-0? Yes. Do larger events mean that there's a higher skill threshold at the event? No. Generally, larger events means that the potential to do well at the event is higher because the bell curve of skill is lower. And that is a fact. Okay, and then Dario in the 5-0 section was running a list called I was forced to play Sylvaneth because I wasn't allowed to play new OBR. Sorry, Terry. Which is a Sylvaneth Wargrove of burgeoning lists with Master Pass and Restless Energy, with Belthanos and a reinforced unit of Triads. Never see that. A Scourge Grand, Drycha Hammerdreth, and then Spite Revenants. And then we've got a Branch Witch, Spirit of Durthu, and then a Scourge Grand Revenant Seekers unit. Again, they're really popular. Be conscious of that. And a War Song Revenant unit. So those are all the 5-0s. So I'm just going to shout out everyone who did get a 4-1. So G's with OCR Bone Reapers, Camille with Blades of Khorne, Matthias with Ogre Tribes, Mikkel with Fleshy Courts, Hust with Sylvaneth, Domenico Monestanto with Idnet Deepkin, Ronya with Disciples of Tzeentch, Max with Fleshy Courts, Paul with Lumineth Realm Lords, Daniel Brinkett with Lumineth Realm Lords, Daryl Peacock with Lumineth Realm Lords, Matthew Spencer with Lumineth Realm Lords, Fernando Hernandez also with Lumineth Realm Lords, Kevin Radford with Fernando Hernandez with Slaves to Darkness, Kevin Radford with Sylvaneth, Jonas Feltgen with Lumineth Realm Lords, all in there. So I think 5 or 6 LRL armies there. Now, let's take a look at the actual list that we picked out. So I picked out the Ogre list, run by Matthias, because he was running Moorpath Menaces with Inceptor Recover and Restless Energy. He had a Tyrant, a Reinforced Unit of Iron Guts, and 3 Soggy Scrap Launchers. Very cool to see. A Butcher, Reinforced Unit of Ogre Gluttons, and a smaller unit of Ogre Gluttons, and then an Iron Blaster. So a lot of ranged output, but also those Noblar Scrap Launchers are pretty cheap for just bodies for holding objectives or screening as well, which is nice. Then we've got Ronya running a list called Blades, which is a Disciples of Tzeentch Fated Blades list with Manifestations of Tzeentch and Scouting Force and Restless Energy. With a Curseling, 6 Enlightened, a Reinforced Unit of Zangor Enlightened, Reinforced Unit of Zangors, 2 units of Skyfires, a Gaunt Summoner, 2 units of Spawn of Tzeentch, Fate Master, Jade Obelisk, and Carrick Acolytes. Really tough army to play. Really tough. Very interesting to see the Skyfires and the Enlightened in here as well. Feels like just more Zangors is the way. But having that mobility on the board is super useful. Paul Down was running a list called Leor Blade Lords, which is a Lumineth Realm Lords, War Host of Duality being the worst army in the game, which is Master of the Paths and Restless Energy with Leor, a reinforced unit of Wardens, a reinforced unit of Blade Lords ×2, so that is 2 units of Blade Lords, a reinforced unit of Dawn Riders, and then a Sonari Caligrave, the Light of Altharian, and a Venari Lord Regent. That Leor being very effective for buffing up those Venari units. So that's cool to see, apart from it being LRL. Then we got Daniel Brinkett running a list called the Tanuki Gauntlet LRL, which was Restless Energy, Master of the Paths with War Host of Duality. No way fighting twice is the best thing. Anyway, we got Leor, Hurricane Spirit of the Wind, Wind Chargers, Light of Altharian, Reinforced Unit of Sentinels, and then a Cathalar, Reinforced Unit of Wardens ×2, and a unit of Riverblades. So the lists are quite different between the different armies. And then finally, Fernando Hernandez was running a list called Abraxia's Tinder Date, which is a Slaves to Darkness Godswrath Warband with Restless Energy and Master of the Paths. We got Be'lakor, Chaos Furies and Raptrix, Scourge Grand Abraxia and Varangard, and then Chaos Sorcerer Lord, Chaos Chosen Reinforced with the Dread Banner. Now, I was actually thinking about this only very recently. I feel like you could play Slaves to Darkness into the mid-board combat meta very well. Like, I mean, there's the amount of output that's coming out of the Chosen, or even Varangard even, is super solid. And I think maybe they've got more play than we see them have. Their win rate, or not win rate, their meta rep has dropped off pretty aggressively. So maybe it's just because they're kind of like Stormcast. They're fragile enough to mortal damage, and there's quite a lot of that in the meta as well. But congratulations, Fernando. And also shout out to the TOs for running a great event. But big news, big takeaway. That's the thing you all need to be kind of shouting about. Gloomspite Gits win the biggest event of the past few weeks. Our next event takes us to Seattle, Washington for the Sparkle Death Party Deathmatch 14. And I got to say, some sick art. I don't know who did this, but some sick art. I really like that. It's cool. Organized by Dimensional Cascade. Well done for being big hobby heroes in your community. They always held it at this VA location, which looks pretty sick, actually. It's a really nice little area, which is cool. Anyway, if we go take a look at the actual results, we can see that the man, the myth, the legend, the mustache himself, Mr. Carson Whitlock, some say when he walks in a room, it smells of oaky musk, and everyone feels a little bit more like they can achieve their life goals. Mr. Carson Whitlock with Ogre Tribes with the 5-0 running a list called, it has a YouTube link, oh God, I actually might lose my voice again. So that sucked. That was fantastic. Anyway, running Ogre Tribes with the Moorpath Menaces Battle Formation, Master Pass Insect Recover, Butcher, Reinforced Unit of Iron Guts and Gluttons, a small unit of Gluttons, an Iron Blaster, a soggy version, Slaughtermaster, Noblars, Gorge, and Moorpack. How does he do it? No one knows, but he is a legend. Moving to the 4-1 section, we've got Mr. Matt Beasley, one of my favorite people, to give you a 7-paragraph response to a 2-word question. His list is called Sir David Attenborough. Every year, Matt migrates abroad through the summer, fall, and winter, and returns home in the spring. A Disciples of Tzeentch, Fated Blades list with the Interceptor Recover and Restless Energy. We've got Kairos Fate Weaver, 2 units of Chaos Spawn, a Reinforced Unit of Zangor Enlightened, a Reinforced Unit of Zangors, a Magister, 2 units of Jade Obelisk. Something we should note from what it seems the Tzeentch lists have been using is a lot of Jade Obelisks. A couple of units of those have made it into pretty much every list we've seen that do well, which is interesting. 100 points for doing some swap-swapping, holding objectives. When I read through the battle tome, go back and look, they rate pretty well, so not bad. That's cool to see. Matthias Crucial was running a list called Never Thought I'd Die Fighting Side by Side with an Elf. What about Side to Side? What about Side by Side with a bunch of fucking other spells? a carriage and Overlords, Expeditionary Guild, that's not even right. Engineers Guild Expeditionary Force list with Restless Energy and Interceptor Recover. He's got an Admiral, an Archanaut Company that's been reinforced and an Ironclad, and then a Scourge Grand Grudstruck Gun Hauler, and then a Scourge Grand Code Right, Reinforced Unit of Sky Wardens, 2 Reinforced Units of Harpoons, Fantastic. And then the new Regiment of Renown from Lumineth Realm Lords, which I said was going to be taken fucking loads. The Sigil Convocation, which is a Caligrave with the Twin Stones, Rune of Petrification, and a Sanctum of Anti-Attack, or whatever it's called. If you're going to be running dwarfs, you've got to bring some elves with you. It's gross, but congratulations. That's great. James Terwilliger was running a list called Castelli Me Baby, Mounted and Thirsty, just a single prince looking for a fellow steed enthusiast. A Soul Black Gravelords Bacchanal of Blood list with Restless Energy and Intercept and Recover, with Prince Vordry, a reinforced unit of Blood Knights, another unit of Blood Knights, unit of Varghese, then a Vampire Lord Nightmare Steed, some Skirgan True Blades, some Death Rattle Skeletons, and some other Death Rattle Skeletons. Very cool. Very nice. Very nice. Blood Knights and Vordry still solid. Also, what an amazing thing to pick up. A vampire and a dragon and some vampire cavalry. Literally the fucking best timeline. Alexander Frias says list is called White Lotus Season 3 Episode 5, 42 minutes and 25 seconds. No one tell me what that says. He's running those Bone Reapers, so we won't look at this because the new book is currently out, but congratulations to... Oh, maybe this is the new book. Is it the new book? Catacross, Immortis Guard, just in case. Catacross, Immortis Guard, Small Immortis Guard, Death Riders, Necropolis Stalkers, Soul Mason, and Vought Martian in the list as well, with Immortals in Council. I don't think the new book is out yet. Start Pista is running a list called If It Ain't Broke, Don't Reforge It, a Stormcast Eternals Vanguard wing list with Restless Energy and Scouting Force. He's got Krondys, Praetors and Prosecutors, Vanguard Paladors with Shockhand Axes, Vanguard Raptors with Long Strike Crossbows, and then Knight Relictor, Vigilers in the list as well. I mean, he's not wrong. Literally, he's not wrong. You could have built your Stormcast list during Age of Sigmar 4's launch and had the same list the whole while. Fred Schmidt is running a list called Every Time I Submit a List Drunk, it ends up being Trees. A Sylvaneth Lords of the Clan list with Restless Energy and Intercept to Recover, with a Lariel, a Branch Witch, a Spirit of Durthu, a Warsong Revenant, Belthanos, Drycha Hammerdreth in the list. So a big monster, like a big monster list. That's cool to see. Sylvaneth just got so much play. I hope the new book doesn't ruin it because it's a great book at the minute. Crystal Moy is running a list called Soulblight Master, which is a Soulblight Gravelords Bacchanal of Blood list with Master Pass and Wrathful Cycles, with Vordry, 2 units of Skirgan True Blades, 2 units of Blood Knights, a Vengori Lord, another unit of Skirgan True Blades, Kusagi Night Guard, Radikar the Beast, and Kusagi Night Guard. Currently, the True Blades and Radikar the Beast, Kusagi Night Guard is this kind of like very meta, very cool, very side project build that a lot of players are playing. It's got so much strike last in there. It's got so much potential. It's very, very fun. Anyway, genuinely, Northwest meta, best meta, I think. Just some of the coolest people. I hope you're having a great time. Our next event takes us to Norway, Norge, for MOSSPIT 2026, presented by the Tabletop Bastards. Some of my favorite people in wargaming. None of them will play Lumineth Realm Lords, let me tell you. Right, so if we go and look at the placings, we can see that we've got 2 5-0s, Benjamin Fludder running Lumineth Realm Lords, and Philip Skoglund running Skaven. So if we take a look at the list, also ran by Lars Tora Diebdal. Thank you for being an amazing representative of your community. I could do this all in a Swedish accent. Norwegian accent. Same thing, really. I just pissed off 2 countries at once. I was proud of that. Okay, right. Benjamin Fludder is running a list called Light and Friends, which is a Lumineth Realm Lords Elementa Guardians list with Intercept and Recover and Master the Paths, with Avlanor the Stoneheart King, 2 reinforced units of Stone Guard, and some Orlan Wardens that have been reinforced. So 3 reinforced units. Severith, Light of Altharian, Stanari, and Light at 5-0. What did we say about the Stone Guard? Everyone else around the world has been doing a lot of the Venari elements of it. They're using Lior. Seems in Norway. They're hitting it with the Mountain Men, and it's working really well. Philip Skoglund was running a list called We Forgot the Cheese Grommet. Oh, nice. Skaven Fleshmeld Menagerie list with Restless Energy and Master the Paths, with a Soggy Grey Seer and Screaming Bell, Clan Rats, a Scourge Grand Brew Terror, and a reinforced unit of Storm Fiends. Then Master Molder, Clan Rats, and 2 units of Rat Ogres. Fantastic. Love to see it. Love to see it. I think Skaven are in a solid place. Solid place. Now, going into the 4-1 sections, we've got Alexander Delaney running a list called Tzeentch Scouting, which is Disciples of Tzeentch, Mutants, and Mad Things list with Restless Energy and Scouting Force. And then we've got Kairos, 2 units of Chaos Spawn of Tzeentch, Magister on Disc of Tzeentch, Jade Obelisk, 2 units of Carrick Acolytes, not the soggy ones, which is kind of interesting. Curseling, reinforced unit of Zangor Enlightened, reinforced unit of Zangors, and a unit of Skyfires as well. So I think it's going to take a little bit of wild for people to figure out exactly the Tzeentch list they want to run. Taking multiple Chaos Spawn just so you're able to use your Allegiance ability is interesting. And I think the army list will end up in that kind of 3-2-4-1 category. But, the more people play against it, the more they'll learn the tricks of the trade. Right now, it's got a big boost, but we'll see. Maybe as people play with it more, it's going to get even better, and they're going to get even better with it. Aslak Blit is running a list called Ossiarch Bone Reapers, Mortars, is running a list called Army, which is an Ossiarch Bone Reapers, Mortars, and Council list, which is the old book, so we're not going to go through it. And then Johannes Verdeld is running a list called Basic, which was a Stormcast Eternals, Sentinels, Oblique Sentinels list. This is the most basic list. Restless Energy Master Paths, Scorching Grand Iridan the Witness, Reinforced Prosecutors, Vanguard Paladors with Starstrike Javelins, Vanguard Raptors, Longstrike Crossbows, Knight Relictor, and Vigilers. They should sell this in a box. They should sell this in a easy-to-collect single box for the next year and a half to play. Martin Ante Rome was running a list called Known Tricks, Null Stats, a Disciples of Tzeentch Mutants and Mad Things list with Master Paths and Restless Energy. We got Kairos, 3 Chaos Spawn of Tzeentch, Curseling, Scourge Grand Ogroid Thaumaturge, Reinforced unit of Zangor Enlightened, Reinforced unit of Zangors and some Skyfires, and then a Scourge Grand Ogroid Thaumaturge and some Carrick Acolytes. There you go. Tzeentch still doing well in what is, I think, Norway's a tough meta. So if they're doing well there, they can do well. Simon Lillehagen, one of the best, running a list called Dragon and 4 Dragons, which is a Stormcast Eternals Lightning Echelon list with Prayers of the Storm Hosts, with Karazai, a Knight Velexus, and Praetors, Reinforced unit of Stormdrake Guard. I was only saying the other day, it feels like I haven't seen them in ages. Knight Relictor, 2 units of Quest of Soul Sworn, and some Vigilers as well. So that's cool to see. You rarely see Stormdrake Guard. Karazai, I think, is about to make a kind of like cool guy comeback, especially in newer GHB drops. So we'll have to check that out. And then Christian Bubraken is running a list called You Know It's Bad When the Flies Are There. A Magikin and Nurgle's Menagerie list. That's interesting because I would have assumed 100% pick rate for the Taliban and Nurgle. Running Master of the Pass and Restless Energy. You've got Blobe, Plague Drones, Puskil Blightlords, and some Sloven Knights, and then a Lord of Afflictions, Belga, Rotbringer, and the Regiment now in the Curse Steel Battery. Okay. What can we take away from the MOSSPIT event? Or we can take away from the fact that it's a tough meta, that Nurgle is doing well, LRL is doing well, Tzeentch is doing well. All those 3 new books really popping. Our next event is called the TCC Age of Sigmar Grand Tournament. This is in Australia. Shout out to all my fellas down there. This is in New South Wales, and it is organised by the Combat Company and also Keishan. So thanks to Keishan for being a great hero to your community. So if we take a look, we can see that in the 5-0 section, we've got Jacob Strachan with Disciples of Tzeentch. Then we've got Ogormore Tribes run by Mitch, LRL, Blades of Khorne. These are on the 4-1. Blades of Khorne again at Ossiarch Bone Reapers. So taking a look at this Tzeentch list that gave us a 5-0, we've got the list called The One, which is a Disciples of Tzeentch, Mutants and Mad Things list with Wrathful Cycles, Inceptor Recover. We've got Lord of Change, 3 Chaos Spawn of Tzeentch, an Exalted Flamer of Tzeentch, Curseling, Zangor Enlightened that have been reinforced, a Change Caster, some blue horrors, and some pink horrors. This is crazy to me. I would have expected to not see horrors feature at all in any of the updated Tzeentch lists since the book dropped. To see pinks and 2 units of blues is wild, but amazing work from Jacob there. Then, obviously, the kind of necessary unit of Zangor Enlightened in there, which is fine. But the Exalted Flamer also kind of popping on its own. This is a wild and very interesting list. This is definitely going to be a big head scratcher for some people. Very, very cool to see. I'd love to do a breakdown on this. Then we've got Mitch Bug. Mitch Bug is running a list called Fresh Combat Phases Baked Daily and delivered straight to your deployment zone in 2 turns or less, guaranteed, or your model's back. An Ogormore Tribes Moorpath Menaces list with Master Path and Restless Energy. We've got a Butcher, some Iron Guts, some Gluttons, 2 units of Ogre Gluttons as well, and Slaughtermaster, some Noblars, and a Iron Blaster. Love to see it. That is fantastic. Again, Ogre's doing well. Ogre's just doing well. I don't know what else to say. You can play Ogres at tournaments and do well with it. We got Pui Hinyoho running a list called Ooh, which is a Lumineth Realm Lords of War host of duality lists with Master Path and Restless Energy. We got a Wind Mage, 2 reinforced units of Wardens, River Blades, Severith, and a Venari Lord Regent, a Live Altharian, and 2 Banner Blade, and a unit of Dawn Riders that have been reinforced as well. So 1 unit of Dawn Riders, 1 unit of River Blades, 2 reinforced units of Wardens, Severith, Venari Lord Regent, Light of Altharian in the 4-1 section as well. A lot of Lumineth in there, but Tzeentch also in there as well, which is good. Then we got a John Menzies is running a list called Slaughter of the Jugger, which is a Blades of Khorne Brass Stampede list with Incept to Recover Wrathful Cycles. We've got Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster and Fetid Fury, Bloodmaster, 2 reinforced units of Bloodletters, Skullmaster, and some Blood Crushers, all in the list. It's cool to see. I mean, Skull Crushers is crazy. Blood Crushers is crazy in 2026. Just throw that out there. The Bloodletters being reinforced is, I think, sensible. Very sensible. Got Ewan Forrester running a list called Lords of Death, which is a Baleful Lords Blades of Khorne list with the Incept to Recover Master Pass. We got Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster and Fetid Fury, Bloodthirster and Fetid Fury, Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage, and Scarbrand in the list. All the Bloodthirsters. And then finally, we got Damien running a list called Bone Tide Debt Collectors, which is an old OCR Bone Reapers list. Awesome. Great work. I hope everyone in Australia had a great time. I know that the Sydney GT sold out in like 17 minutes recently. Shout out to the Mortally Wounded podcast and to Chris and the guys. So really excited to see the Australian community popping off, having more events. You know, you got loads of events. You had a big event in CanCon. So love to see that kind of grow and develop. Our next event takes us to Canada for an event organized by Michael Nonomura called the Battle for the Bridge. If you take a look at the placings, we've got Karajan Overlords in the 5-0 and Disciples of Tzeentch in the 4-1. Taking a look at Adam Will's 5-0 list, his list is called TLDR, 2 Holes, 1 Horizon. In a world where profit margins are thin and trust is a luxury commodity, he's a by-the-book industrial legend who has a rule for every situation and a gun for every occasion. He's a freewheeling sky captain who shoots from the hip and never reads the fine print. They don't agree on strategy and they don't agree on risk. They definitely don't agree on expense reports. But when a contract goes sideways, when the stakes go higher than sky vessels, 2 captains will risk everything, invest in each other, and discover that the best profit of all is friendship. 2 Holes, 1 Horizon premieres in battlefields everywhere, March 7th. A Karajan Overlords, Pioneers, and Scavengers list with Incept to Recover and Master Pass, with Brock, an Argonaut Frigate, a Null Chemist, Reinforced Unit Sky Wardens, and some Vongrim Salvagers. And then Drekkie Flint, the other captain, an Argonaut Company, an Argonaut Frigate, and a Vongrim Harpoon crew. Fantastic. I think when you see someone commit so much to their list name, they've committed a lot to their list. That's what I'm going to say. Cole Windsor has got no list name. He's in a 4-1. He was running Disciples of Tzeentch with the Fated Blades. He had Restless Energy and Master of the Pass with Kairos, 2 units of Chaos Spawn of Tzeentch, a Fate Master, a Scourgy Grand Karakakalites, Gaunt Summoner, Zangor Enlightened, and a reinforced unit of Zangors with Curseling as well. Tzeentch have done well. No doubt. Shout out to everyone at Battle for the Bridge. Hope you had a great time. Our next event takes us to Austria, AoS Austria for War and Glory Games, Age of Sigmar GT. Great to see an event coming out of those. I hope to see more and more grow in the future. In the 5-0 section, we've got Magikin and Nurgle, which is Dominic Hirsch. Congratulations. Then Silverdeath, Magikin and Nurgle, and Slaves to Darkness again. Dominic was running a list called Dominic de Power Hirsch, a Bebop Boys, but in green. A Taliban and Nurgle list with Master Pass and Wrathful Cycles. Rotigus, 2 reinforced units of Plague Bearers. Belga, Poxwretches, Rot Swords, Festus, and a Lord of Plagues. Nurgle's so hot right now. Tobias Goal was running, is that right? Have I done that right? Yes, Dominic. Yeah, Tobias was running a list called Tobias Two Beers Goal, Ich und mein Holz, mein Holzy Holz. A Sylvaneth Wargrove of Burgeoning list, Incept and Recover and Wrathful Cycles, with Drycha, Soggy Drycha, 2 units of Spite Revs, Belthanos, Spirit of Durthu, Kernoth Hunters, and Spite Rider Lancers. Spite Rider Lancers is so hot right now. Sylvaneth players are just moving on, and they're using that. Michael Goldschmied was running a list called Michael Goldie 789, which is a Taliban and Nurgle list with Restless Energy and Wrathful Cycles with Rotigus, Plague Bearers, Reinforced Plague Bearers, Poxbringer, Plague Drones, Belga, Rotmire Creed, Rotbringer, Rot Swords, Reinforced as well, and a Lord of Plagues. Nurgle doing great as well. And finally, Joachim was running a Slaves to Darkness, Legion of the First Prince Army of Renown with Be'lakor, Chaos Legionnaires, Reinforced Bloodletters ×2, a Reinforced unit of Fiends, a Centurion Marshal, 2 units of Chaos Furies. Whew. Absolutely fantastic. Our last event is the Age of Sigmar Grand Tournament event that took place in Mississauga in Canada. And in first place, we got the organized by X-Planet Games. Yes. Shout out to Lionel. Running, and in the first place with a 5-0 is Michael Sabetti with Lumineth Realm Lords. And we got 1-4-1 with Soulblight Gravelords. We have got a list called The Mountie Does Not Negotiate, run by Michael Sabetti, which is a Lumineth Realm Lords Warhost of Duality list with Master Pass and Restless Energy, with Avalanar, Double Stone Guard, Venari Lord Regent, Severith, the Light of Ultharion, Cenarian Lightner, and then Yiradran River Blades as well. Seems like the Stone Guard build is doing better than the Venari build. Just throw that out there. And then we've got Mark Polinsky running Blood Knights, which is a Soulblight Gravelords Bacchanal of Blood list with Master Pass and Scouting Force. We've got Vordry, 3 units of Skirgan True Blades, a Vengori Lord, Double Blood Knights, Radikar, Kasagi Night Guard, and Varghests. So that is 2 weeks worth of event reports. And you can really see in the second half of the video, or second half of the event reports, the impact of both Lumineth Realm Lords and the Disciples of Tzeentch and Magikin of Nurgle, right? Magikin Nurgle currently most successful army in the game, 60% win rate. Very, very effective. Now, obviously, a pretty diverse and wide meta. That wasn't the only thing. We saw Ogres doing really well. We saw Sylvaneth all over the place. There were some armies that kind of just jumped in here and there, right? Skaven were kind of pretty popular. We had Cruel Boys pop up. So there was lots and lots of different armies that saw play, and some kind of, out there armies, Scrap Launcher Ogres, the Slaves to Darkness. We ended up with all the Dark Oath models. So there was some real kind of diversity there. But the immediate impact of those new books, LRL and Tzeentch, and, Nurgle's continued dominance, I think was felt through this. The only outstanding army, which I was like, wow, this is still really performing, was Flesh Eater Courts. With all those monster builds, they were doing really well. Also feels like Khorne has been uplifted a lot. They've obviously got the 5 Thirster build, but I think kind of running infantry is also working really well post the update that they had. So I think the game is in a very interesting space just before we're about to get a Battle Scroll update. Don't forget, we're about to get a Battle Scroll update after this stats video. So the next stats video will be post a Battle Scroll update. So, well, that should work out. And if I'm wrong, let me know. Very interesting. And I'm also amazed my voice held out for the 5 hours this has taken to record. So I want to say thank you to everyone who runs events and makes those events happen. You are the heroes in the community. Let me know what your favorite lists were in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the support on Patreon. I'll see you all soon. Goodbye.